Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful evening with us on Live with Lloyd, where the joy of numerology is the joy of enlightenment and learning, or learning and enlightenment, whichever way. But anyway, thank you very, very much for joining us. And today I am my guest, okay? And I will do that this Wednesday. And then next week, we'll start having a lineup of guests. But I figured I would do it this particular uh, time around. And let's see here. Okay. First of all, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Okay, here we go. Hi, everybody. All right. Anyway, thank you for those of you who've uh, liked, share, subscribe. It's real nice. And thank you for two who make the donations to Super Chat or whatever that is. I still haven't figured that out yet, believe it or not. But I think either probably Wednesday, I'll have the list of names of people who sent donations in acknowledgement to it, which I surprisingly appreciate. I mean, I really do. I mean, it's totally unexpected. I got somebody to blame for it, but we ain't gonna go there now because we're gonna stay on this good side. But anyway, I want to thank everybody. Now, today, I said I would touch on matters of the health. As you know, last week I was talking about Kyrie Irving and this clip that somebody had sent me. Actually, it was a Jennifer and Simon and Sandra and one or two other people that knew that I was into numbers like this. So, and then what I did was I expounded on the fact that not only did he have the 11 jersey, this, that, and the other, but his name was 11, his birthday was 11, etc. And I said, as a result, I might talk about the health a little bit, which I'm going to do. And by the way, what I'm going to discuss has nothing to do with the AMA, NIH, CDC. Who else is out there with this? What I'm describing to you are things that men learned long ago. For example, who determined that if you were born under a certain part of the year, you would be under that constellation exhibiting that character? This was way before the United States was set up, way before Big Pharma was set up and everything like that. So when in my book, Numbers in You, where I explain about numerology and health, I took these definitions from long ago. Trust me. So there should not be any conflict, but I will say this. For those with the health, they always say, please consult your physician, your doctor, whatever the case is, all right? But what I'm going to do is just describe in a brief way, numerically, that if you were born under a certain date, therefore, you would probably exhibit these characteristics. Now, here's what's important, too. The things are not the same as it used to be with family. And when I say that, let's say you're going to a doctor and they want to know the family history, okay? On your mother's side, it could be high blood pressure. On your father's side, it could be diabetes, all righty? So regardless whether people have grown in a two-family household or single-parent household, especially for single-parent households, if possible, you should try to get the health tendencies that run through the family of the other parent that may not be in that home. So this way, when you go to your physician, go to your doctor, go to the hospital, you can begin to give them a total picture, because they will always say, well, what's the family history? What's over here? What's over there? But if we are isolated the way things have been over the last several years, where many people are growing up in a one single household, that may not be to advantage to actually get to the exact cause of a health concern. So try to find out, A, what illnesses tend to run through the mother's side, what illnesses tend to run through the father's side, whether either one is there or not. If both are there, that's fine. But if not, try to find out from the parent in the household about the one that's not in the household. Well, what ran through their family, this, that, and the other, all right? So this will help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the numbers from 1 to 9 and just kind of spend a couple of minutes with it. And then I'm going to go to your questions and or concerns, all right? So let's say we're going to start with the number 1. Number 1, people born on the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, or the 28th, or if you are under the sign of Leo. Okay. Well, the number one rules high blood pressure, heart palpitations, irregular blood circulations, concerns with the lower back. I've noticed with women, if they have concerns with the eyes, number one, women, it's normally their left eye. With the men, it's normally their right eye. And in fact, I don't know who came upon this, but in astrology, it's normally a given. If a woman is affected in any way, it's normally on the left side of her body. And if a man is affected, it's generally on the right side of his body. Where these people got this information from, I don't know, but it seemed to have stood the test of time. And every time I've talked to people on different radio shows or whatever the case is, and I'll see a person with a lot of ones in their name or in their birthday, and I says, chances are you probably wear glasses. They say, yes, that's true. Then I'll say, well, and if it's a woman, I'll say it's probably more the left eye than the right eye. They says, that's true also. So I'm telling you about time-tested things that I personally have been doing this for all these years. When I throw out this health question, it seems to fit right in. Now, of course, there are all kinds of illnesses nowadays. I don't know whether it's because of medications, whatever the case is, but these have always been the standard. So with the one, heart, high blood pressure, lower back, eyes, heart murmurs, irregular blood circulations, heart palpitations. They need to be careful almost always without question in the months of January, May, and October. These are the challenging months. Now, if you're a number two person that is born on the 2nd, 11th, the 20th, or the 29th of the month, or if you're born under the sign of Cancer, well, that rules the stomach and digestive tract, ptomaine poisoning, ulcers, tumors, hemorrhoids, diabetes, things of that nature. And people born on the 2 are normally very finicky and fussy about their eating habits. With women, especially under the number 2 influence, they tend to have a little concern or sensitivities with the reproductive organs too, whether it's their monthly cycle or whatever the case may be. But that's the one thing I noticed. And they have to be careful in February, April, August, and November. All righty. Got so many things in my head. If a person is a number 3, where the number 1 rules high blood pressure, the number 3 rules low blood pressure, okay, or anemia, as they call it, which means they get cold very easily, overstrain of the nerves, emotional upsets. Women, I've noticed, under the number 3 have very sensitive skin, especially the cheap makeup. Can't put no makeup. Most 3 women I know would put a scant amount of makeup on their face, all right? 3 rules overstrain of the nerves, emotional upsets. It rules the hip, the thighs, and the feet. So if it's a woman, it's more to the left side, excuse me. If it's a man, it's more to the right side of the body. And so in this case, what they have to do is avoid emotional upsets. And these are some of the things that will also affect them as well. So skin disorders, kidney disorders too, inflamed nerves and jaundice. And as I said, foot problems of all kinds. So their challenging months would be February, June, August, and September. All righty. Now, if you're number 4, and this is the thing about the 4 and the 8, of all the numbers from 1 to 9, these 2 numbers, for whatever reason, tend to be misunderstood by people in general in life and misunderstood by the medical profession too. Because 4 has to do with the moods, the way you think. It has to do with, it rules sometimes despondency. It rules also what is called unexplainable injuries, freak accidents, self-inflicted wounds, things like that. But a lot of times, though, 4s can be in a depressed mood. And so I would suggest the 4s, with all this drama going on TV and the internet, that they should back up if they're feeling really depressed. They should back up, but almost always when they go, I'll tell a number 4 and a number 8. If you are diagnosed by your doctor or hospital with something serious, go get a second opinion. But don't tell the second opinion what the first opinion was. You want to see if they come up with it independent of each other. And if they come up independent, then maybe they're on to something. But the tendencies of a 4 and the tendencies of an 8 is to be, shall we say, a little bit misunderstood. but it has a lot with fours, a lot to do with their state of mind. So they should be around positive environments, positive energy, read positive books, or whatever the case is. But as long as it's upbeat, and rather than in a kind of like a, with all the drama, I mean, you can be depressed listening to TV all day long, and by the end of the day, you want to know why you're not feeling well. Well, if it's a 4, that would make all the sense in the world. 5, that is those born on the, hold up, let me back up. When I talked about the 4, I forgot to say this includes those born on the 4th, the 13th, the 22nd, and the 31st, or if you're under the sign of Aquarius, okay? Now, if you're number 5, that is born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd of the month, or under the sign of Gemini and or Virgo, well, that rules the nervous system, mental exhaustion, nervous tension, things of that nature, mental irritability, mental breakdowns. Of all the numbers, 5 has one of the best in advance warnings to let you know. Number 5 people, as a rule, or if they got a lot of 5s running through their names, almost always when they're under pressure will experience some twitching around the mouth or the eye. And that's letting them know they need to hit the brakes before they go over the edge. Okay. 5 is the only number that I know that does that, twitching in some part of the face. Now, a person may say, well, I'm not a 5, Virgo, or Gemini, but you may have a lot of 5s running through your name, like Kennedy, for example. That has a lot of 5s in it. So that might be affecting the nervous system, but it does rule the nervous system. It also rules the hands, the arms, and the shoulders, too, to the woman to the left, to the man is to the right, okay? And their most stressful times is always in the months of January, March, and December. These are the cautionary months when the health of that particular number and sign may not be at its best. For number 6 people, well, that rules the nose, the throat, the upper part of the lungs, allergies, hay fever, heart palpitations, irregular blood circulations, okay? Sinuses, all those kind of things. With women, I notice it also rules the mammary glands too. Very sensitive or things of that nature. And what happens is they will find that January, February, April, and August are normally the challenging times of the year for them. Well, the number 6, like the number 5, has this. Of all of the numbers, 6 needs the least medication. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some professional people out there, but I'm just talking about experience on my part from doing this for a great number of years, seeing tens of thousands of people in my career doing this. 6 people, it appears that their best medicine is sunlight, fresh air, and get your butt out the house with some brief activities. Get in the gym, do a power walk around the neighborhood, but something. That tends to revive a number 6 person better than anyone else born on the 6th, the 15th, the 24th, or if they're under the sign of Taurus or Libra. They have one of the best recuperative powers, all complements of Mother Nature, sunlight, fresh air, some activities, okay? And doctors will always tell you anyway, there's something magical about walking. And part of the concern now, I think, with the health in the country is people, I shouldn't say getting lazy, people are getting more comfortable in the sense that they'll go from the house to the car to the mall, or to the supermarket, or whatever, and then they'll go back from the supermarket or the mall to the car, then the car to the house. So a lot of times we lose the fact of how valuable it is to walk, to have the body circulating. But with 6s, that's it. Walking, sunlight, fresh air, pretty much they're good to go. All righty. Number 7, that is those born on the 7th, the 16th, the 25th, or if they're under the sign of Cancer or indirectly a Pisces, tend to suffer with mental aggravation, worry, mental exhaustion, things like that. They also suffer with night sweats too. They tend to be kind of like worry. For some reason, worry seems to bother with 7s. Why that is, I don't know. Maybe it's a spiritual number, and we live in a more complex world. But basically, that's what affects them. And also, in addition, they tend to let imagination get the best of them too. So, for example, a person born on the 7th, 16th, or 25th, right? They'll worry about a concern. Then when they get to that point, get on the other side and look back, hey, it was no big deal. But for them at that time, leading up to it, it was very serious. So during January, April, and August, these are the cautionary months for this particular number and sign. Now, for number 8, as I said, there are 2 numbers that tend to be misunderstood by people in general and misunderstood by the medical profession. And that one, second one, is the number 8. So anyone born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th of the month, they will find, or if they come in under the sign of a Capricorn, Aquarius, which was the original ruler of Aquarius, and its exaltation in Libra. But let's stick to Aquarius, a Capricorn first, and Aquarius. Well, number 8s tend to suffer with headaches, the knees, the teeth, the bones, rheumatism, constipation. These are some of the things. So I always recommend to a number 8 person that they should have. Of course, I'm not a medical doctor and I don't claim to be. I'm just telling you what the men of old, thousands of years ago, have discerned, that when a person is born under this constellation by sign or number, they would exhibit these traits. None of these things I mentioned you have to have. If one takes care of themselves, it should be minimum. But if you haven't been taking care of yourself, then maybe some of these I mentioned may be more pronounced. So with 8, they should have at least 1 or 2 meatless meals a week, preferably Wednesday, preferably Sunday. I have my reasons for that, which I ain't going to get into right now, but they should have some meatless meals. That would eliminate or minimize stoppage of the intestines, which we call constipation, okay? And so these things are very important. And also the liver and the bile. So they will find that the months of February, June, August, and September are more challenging. And finally, to the number 9 person, all righty? People born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th, or if you're under the sign of Aries or Scorpio, tend to suffer with, 9s tend to be more accident prone than illness prone, okay? Reason why for me is 9 rules fire. Well, diseases and viruses don't like fire. They will tell you, if you go to another country, the traditional mode of thinking was, what do you do before you drink the water? You boil it, all right? And those old cowboy movies my dad used to watch, you know, when they was taking the bullet out the guy's shoulder, they would put the knife in the fire and then took the bullet out and all that stuff. So diseases don't like 9s, but accidents do. Nicks, cuts, burns, bruises, fender benders. Careful with handling knives and guns and other sharp instruments and things like that. Impulsiveness, confrontations. All these things should be kept to a minimum. With the men, they normally have scars from the forehead on the right side down to the arm, down to the knee, down to the ankle. That's what it is. And women too, who are number 9s, will tend to have more scars, but theirs will lean more toward the left. So now, there is another astrological rule in getting diagnosis, especially with 4 people and number 8 people, all righty? And that is this. If you are under a notion where there's something curious and they're not quite sure and you want to get the more accurate diagnosis, you should get it under when the moon is in a cardinal sign. What does that mean? And I'm glad you asked me, because what happens is the cardinal signs represent the change of the seasons. Thus, the cardinal sign is Aries, which is late March, April. The next cardinal sign is Cancer, which is late June, July. The third cardinal sign is Libra, which is late September into October. And the fourth cardinal sign is between late December into January, which is the sign of Capricorn, which we are now. Now, here's what I'm saying. You don't have to wait until these periods of the year come along, but the moon makes its transit around the sun about every 2.5 to 3 days. So when that sun is making it, and it's easy now, before it would be hard to get this information unless you was into astrology. All you got to do now is go on the internet, Google, hey, Google, what day is the moon in today? Those kinds of things. That will kind of give a clue as to where the moon is that day and whether it would be good. Regular routines, I'm not talking about that, but this applies basically to number 4 and 8 people because they tend to be misdiagnosed. And I know from experience because my mom was a number 8. And just before her passing, I tried to explain to the doctors what was going on. I could tell them what day she would be doing well, what days she would not be doing well, because we all have strong periods in our lives. Okay. We have highs and lows. Some days the sun come out, some days it's cloudy, but we all have it. And by the way, for 9 people, January, May, July, and October are normally challenging months for them. So I'm not trying to take the place of the medical profession, of the big pharma, the AMA, the NIH, the CDC, and all these other things about here. All righty. But I'm telling you, this stuff is thousands of years old. How, and these are the kinds of questions I got. Who determined if you're number 1, these are the characteristics? If you're number 2, this is the characteristic. Somebody had to do this, but I think men of tens of thousands of years ago learned these things, okay? And they just noticed if you were born under a certain number or part of the year, that you would therefore exhibit these. And thus, now you see in astrology that if you're born around late April, May, they will give the symbol of a bull. Why is that? These are some of the questions that I'd like to have a session on, to be honest with you, to go there. Who came up with this? How did they know? But yet it is proven, yet it is factual. So I'm not going to diagnose people's health. I'm not a doctor, but I just said, since I mentioned I talk about the health, I want to touch on it a bit, get that out the way, and then I can now bring my time and attention to you. And again, I want to thank everybody for their patience, everybody for subscribing. And oh, I knew I did something. Excuse me. Let me back up a bit. Let me do the forecast for the day, the cosmic forecast. Okay, here we go. Today is Monday. It is the 9th of July of 2023. The sun is in Capricorn. The moon is in Libra. All righty. Mercury is still retrograde until the 18th of this month. So if your phone has been acting up like mine, computers like mine, and I was saying something and I could not get it right. I don't want to blame it on Mercury retrograde, but since I know it rules words, communications, what you say, don't say, I says, well, maybe that got something to do with it. But a lot of people will tend to make mistakes. And of course, this is not the best sign of signing contracts of any kind. It's an 8 universal day. And if you're a Capricorn, Aquarius, Libra, Aries, Scorpio, or Leo, or born on the 8th, the 9th, the 17th, the 18th, the 26th, or 27th, well, this should be an interesting day for you. Now, if you ever want to see the full, definition of when I do my forecast every day on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, you can see that. All righty. Okay, so we're going to get to this. We're going to have some fun. I can't answer everybody's questions, so I'll do the best I can. That's for sure. So what I'm going to do is start with some of the people that jumped on here at the beginning. All righty. Okay, let me get this. I don't know where that came from. That's interesting. Okay, here we go. The comments. I'm going to go back to, there was a person, very, very interesting. Where is this? Did I do that? Nope. Okay, comments. All right. Okay. There we go. All right, so now I want to kind of start at the top because somebody just got an early jump on it, and I want to make sure at least I address that, if nothing else. And I'll switch back and forth from those that signed on in the beginning and those that signed on recently. So I'll go back and forth with this, okay? So the first person that chimed in this morning, you hear me this morning. See, this is what I'm talking about. This afternoon, where's it again? Here we go. There we go, Lloyd. Okay. Wow, got so many people. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay, here we go. From Duchess, all right? And Duchess said that she is born October the 8th, which is one of the numbers I talked about. That means she had to be very careful being diagnosed. And her twin sisters, which is the number 5. Well, here's what's interesting between you, Duchess, and your twin sisters. Astrologically, you two would be considered oppositional signs. The opposition sign to Libra is Aries. The opposition sign to Aries is Libra. So that means, yes, you and your twins will get along very well. And then there may be sometimes you and your twins may not be having a good day. It all depends. Because your birthday indicates, as a Libra 8 person, you're very serious-minded. 8 people, again, are very intense. they tend to be misunderstood. So I have this saying that the motto that should be over their door is to know an 8 is to love an 8. Because where people think they're cold and lacking in feelings and affections and things of that nature, they're really just the opposite. Very faithful, very loyal, very warm, but you would have to get to know them to find that out. All righty. So once you get that'll work. And as for your sisters, your twin sisters, well, let me tell you, they are just the opposite of you. Where 8 is conservative, 5 is not at all. 5 can be spontaneous, impulsive. They like a lot of variety. They like, to vary things up a little bit. They like to keep it moving. Where 8s are more solid, so you'll have a different type of chemistry. And in this case, where in the case of Libra, your numbers are the 8, 6, and 3. And with your twin sisters, their numbers are the 5, the 9, and the 6. So what you'll have in common is a 6. So let's say you and your twins want to get together and be on the same page. Make it on a Friday, and definitely during the month of May, which rules the 6, and the month of October, it rules the 6 also. So thank you very much for that. All righty. And this person here says Newsom, LT Newsom, and she is born on July 26th, which makes her a Libra 6 person born on the same day as Jennifer Lopez. I mean, I've got so many birthdays in my head. But anyway, this indicates for her that she's a person that's a fire sign with an earth number. Passionate, practical, proactive, conservative. That would be the kind of mix that the fire and earth would bring together with this particular astrological combination of sign and number. So therefore, her numbers, first of all, would be the 6, the 2, and the 7. And it also indicates that she would do well reading people. And she thinks, if I'm not mistaken, I'm doing this in my head, she's probably entering an 11 universal year for the year 2023. And the fact that last year was a 6, 2022, that's what those 4 numbers add up to, and she's a 6. The fact that this year's a 7, which is one of her numbers, it's a 3rd position number, meaning that this is going to be a good year, but it's going to be a good year where she's going to approach it with an enlightened, elevated mind, a kind of higher understanding of her mission, her purpose, her role, and all these ideas that come spontaneously and automatically. She should be thinking and capturing them down. All righty. So now, this person, adore by her, can't wait to tune in. Can you tell me what kind of career path for you? Well, each number, explained in my book, Numbers in You, okay? I put a section there in careers. Careers have varied since the time I wrote this book. They got all kinds of things, especially now, content creators, this, that, and the other. I mean, things I hadn't even thought about. But the basic thing is this. 2s normally do well in areas connected with food, computers, and service. So therefore, you make an excellent chef, a restaurateur, or cook, or whatever the case is. Or you would do well in the computer sciences, mechanical, mathematical sciences, technology, engineering. Or you would do well as a psychologist, psychiatrist, social worker, counselor, life coach, okay, therapist, personal trainer. Those are some of the things. And 2s also make excellent healers. Now, because you're coming under the sign of Gemini, Gemini governs the number 5, which governs business, science, commerce, communication, import, export, the stock exchange, the literary field, the travel industry. So if you're saying, oh, that's why I can't decide what I want, that's because you are blessed to do or have the ability to do so many things. So it all depends on which way you want to go, where your passions lie, and of course, where resources come in to pay your bills, keeping it real. All righty. So that's what I see for there. But your most important numbers are the 2, 7, and 5. And you'll find that Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays are always your best days without exceptions. Okay. So let me jump down to the last one that came in, which is just now. And that's interesting. This person is a spiritual Kai. She just tuned in. And male, excuse me, sir. Thank you for getting me straight. This person is August 29th, Michael Jackson, Diana Washington, Charlie Parker. There's a whole lot of people born on this day, but nonetheless, that tells me that women can be your blessing and your curse at times, sir. That is, especially if you have daughters, especially they're daddy's girls or whatever the case is. And I don't say in a curse in a bad way, But men under number 2 sometimes seem to be, they get along better with women. Like this person probably either worked around a lot of women, have a woman supervisor, whatever the case is. But the point is sometimes he might get himself in a situation with a woman that causes him a little bit more grief than he needs. His key numbers are the 2, 7, and 5, and Mondays and Wednesdays are his best days along with Fridays. Now, what's interesting, this person is entering an 8 personal year, which is a cycle associated with executive abilities, achievements to the max, doing things on a grand scale, making a whole lot of moolah, money, or achievement of some kind of recognition where they get their just desserts. And also in an 8 cycle, because it is governed by Saturn, the planet of history and father time, will explain that this year you're going to do a lot of growing up. Although I see your birthday, yes, you're a grown adult, but still we can all learn something. All righty. And so that's how I'm seeing it. To Neil Moore, this is a Aquarius 7 person. So they're air sign with a water number, which means very logical, yet deeply, deeply emotional and sensitive about things. So they may find, for example, that they may worry more than they need to. The fact that they're born on January the 25th simply says to me that they'll be entering 6th personal year. So this is going to be the year of adjustments for you. This is going to be the year of compensation for you. This is going to be the year to, shall we say, go back to school or learn or take a course or something and get into some kind of weight loss or exercise program for yourself, because that's what's going to help you. Now, I see that I do have some donations. I'm going to try to get to some of them. And let me tell you this. Now, some of you may say, well, I can't donate, and I'm not expecting you to donate. That I'm not. But I will have to agree with my moderator. If you can't do nothing else, just press like. It's just a click of the button. It's no big deal, okay? So it ain't like I'm asking you guys to send in some money. I've never asked anybody to send in money. And by the way, let me stop right here. I understand from my previous guests that their Instagrams have been hacked or whatever. Fortunately, I have not had that experience as of yet, and I pray I don't. But let me tell you how you can tell. 1, I will never ask you for money. I will never suggest that you need to see me to get a reading. I don't do that. I've never done that. People always call me. So if you didn't call me and you get a thing, you got it from somebody else, because LLoyd Strayhorn does not, nor will I ever says you need to get a reading. Okay. You need to get in here and see me and sit down and, let me get this money up in here and get all up in your business. I don't do that. I just don't. And if you should get something supposedly from me or Live with Lloyd or Numbers in You, no, somebody told you wrong. I just don't do that. So I'm just telling you, so far I've been okay, but I know they've kind of hacked Yana Van Zandt, and as popular as she is, all right? And then I've had other guests that have been hacked. So what I'm saying is, I don't know why people ain't got nothing else better to do with their time, okay? But what I'm saying in between, therefore, if you should get it, ignore it. Do not send them no money, not in my name, because I don't do that. So I hope everybody that's listening to this program, this segment especially, do not. If they get something, well, Lloyd, it's Lloyd and Numbers in You or Live with Lloyd, whatever it's coming from, how are they going to do this? And it's about asking money from you, don't do that, please. Not in my name, because I don't know them. I don't do that. As I says, 90% of the people or more call me for appointments. I never call people. That's been for about the last 20 years. Okay. So that's how I do it. So anyway, I just wanted to get that straight. All righty. All right. Let's see what we got here now. Okay. We got, whoops. Nope. That's not it. We got Empress Love. I do believe that is, let me get this out the way. Yeah, this is Empress Love. And let me see. Yeah. So this is a case of the boyfriend. Now, she's January 25th and he's November the 5th. Now, here's the irony. They will say, well, She's an air sign and he's a water sign. And normally air and water astrologically squares, as they would describe it in astrology. However, if you go deeper, this is why I got into numerology in the first place. She is an air sign with a water number. Her boyfriend is a water sign with an air number. You see what I'm saying? So this is what makes some of the exceptions, because with his birthday, he would attract to him those under the signs of Gemini, Virgo, in a minor way Aquarius, and she would attract people born in a water sign. Okay. And with her already being an Aquarius, that makes all the sense to me. Do they share numbers in common? No. But it does it mean they can't get along? No, because you must understand, back in the day, back in the days of our ancestors, okay, 100 years ago, more than that, even up to maybe 50, 60 years ago, people were not into the zodiac signs about, okay, I'm going to get married based upon what your sign is or what your number is. It was the mindset. It was about the unity, for better or worse, for richer or poor, for sickness and health. Simple. Not no prenups all in there. I saw somebody said that the woman wouldn't get married because she refused to sign the prenup. It didn't used to be all that. It used to be a little bit simple. And when you married, you took those vows very seriously. So things obviously have changed over the last 40, 50 years about relationships and how they are now. But my attitude, I don't care what your sign is, what your number is. If you enter with the right mindset, the right understanding that you work as a family, you work as a unit, you work as a collective for the benefit of growing your family so your offsprings can grow and take another level. That's what I'm coming from. But all this other stuff that's going on right now, I don't get that at all. But anyway, I will say this, and for sure, numbers are the 7, 2, 4, and 1. And with him, his numbers are the 5, 9, and 6. So you don't have any numbers that are similar to bring a common date or common month or dates together. But if the mindset is right, there can always be exceptions to the rule. All righty. So I'm going to take this one. This is from Tiffany. All right. Tiffany says she ordered the book. Thanks, Tiffany. She heard me on 19 Keys there. That's the guy that kept me busy since I was on his show. Her birthday is April 18th, and her husband is on August the 11th. Well, first of all, there's a common denominator. They're both fire signs. She's an Aries. He's a Leo. All righty. Normally, though, the opposition sign to the number 9, which is her birth number, is the number 2. Well, that would be somebody born on the 2nd, the 20th, and the 29th. Well, people will say, well, listen, Lloyd, he's born on the 11th. Doesn't 1 + 1 = 2? Well, first of all, 11 is considered a master number, which ain't going to go there. But if you want to find out, enroll in my online course to do that. All right. But more importantly, what happens is this 2 is not made of a 2. It's made of 2 ones. Well, 1 is a fire number. So it's a fire number twice. And so that would make for the exception to the rule. But I will say this, 11 adds up to 2. It all depends on this person's mindset, his attitude, his desire to go high in this world, or if he just has no lofty thoughts of greatness or wanting to be great or anything like that. I would say y'all will have some differences of opinion, Tiffany Godson. All right. And every couple do. I don't care who it is. When they say, and they live happily ever after, I only found that in the storybooks I used to read my kids. Seriously. All right. And so for those of you, especially you grown-ups, thinking that's still the real deal, that is not how it goes at all. We will always be challenged. I could have what I call the best person I'm so in love with, but we're going to have a day where we just not hitting on the same page. So what do? Okay. You work through it. You understand this. You want, just as the person will want that person to understand them, the table has to be reversed where you have to understand them as well. You can't have it both ways. Everything goes my way. I mean, you could, but if you wind up being all by your lonely, then we know what's going on. All right. So anyway, thanks so much for ordering the book. By the way, your lucky numbers, Tiffany, are the 9, 6, and 3. His numbers is the 2, 7, 1, and 4. So y'all don't have any numbers that y'all share in common. But again, the fact that you're married, and I'm sure that y'all have learned. Y'all have learned through trial and error. I've not met a single couple that have not had a little conflict, issue, misunderstanding, or knockdown, drag out argument. That's how it goes. Welcome to the real world. Only in the fairy tale books, as I said, they live happily ever after. So that's all I'm saying to you. Just keeping it real. All right, let's see who this one person is. This person is Elmore. Mr. Lloyd, could you please do a reading for me? And this is two. Now, here's another conflict. Now, this one is, to me, would be more of a conflict, not in a bad way, but this person, for example, is they are a fire sign with a fire number. This is the Sagittarius, and the person that they're interested in is a fire sign, but with a water number. So that means there will be conflicts between the one July 29th versus the one this December 18th, because both the element of the sign and the number are the same. Where in the case of this Leo, both the element and the number would be in conflict according to the laws of nature. You know, when you want to put out fire, you go grab some water. Well, that's what this would be. So if you were to ask me, Elmore, would this relationship between you and this person be made in heaven? I would say, I don't think so. I don't think so. Again, if you're not willing to work on it, no. But if you're willing to say, okay, you accept them for what they are as you would want them to accept you for who you are, then it can. Anything is quite possible. And there are always exceptions to the rules. You got to understand that. Always. I don't know where. I mean, I read a person one time where no number seemed to fit whatsoever. It was the most puzzling reading I've done. But it happens. It happens. Then there's some that's just flawless. Okay. Well, in this case, I would say that y'all would have differences of opinion on time, but the attraction would be there because y'all are both in the element of fire signs. But mentally, because see, the month represents the physical attraction toward each other, but the dates of birth represents the mental attractions towards one another. And if you understand that, that'll help you deal with not only just your loved ones, but associates, family members, co-workers, bosses, neighbors, frenemies, enemies, you name it. Okay, so that's it. By the way, Elmore, your numbers are the 9, 3, and 6. That person's numbers are the 2, 7, and 1, and 4. Again, I'm looking at a pair where none of the numbers are matching. So what happens is then y'all got to have a meeting of the mind as to which way you're going to go, especially if you're going to go serious. If it's casual dating, that's cool. But if it's something where you're going to jump over the broom, go down to City Hall, you know what I'm saying? That level of a relationship, then you need to understand maybe counseling might be advised, who knows? But there are likely to be definitely some bump in the roads on the mental plane, not the emotional plane, but on the mental plane. Okay. So with that, let me go back. Let's see. Let me see. What's this person here? Okay. I'm going to take this Carrie Ann Ingram. She's born January 2680. She'd love to be considered for a reading. Okay. Her birthday's coming up. I know, right around the corner. Aquarius. I'm curious. In fact, this is Anita Baker's birthday, the singer. I'm curious to know what this year looks like for me. Well, this year for you is a 7 personal year. How did I get it for those that want to know? Simple. You take the month and day you're born and you add it to any year in question, whether it is the past, the present, or the future. And that's how you do it. So in this case, when I took her birthday, January the 26th, added it to the year 2023, it factored out that this person is entering a 7 personal year. Anytime you enter a 7 cycle, although this is a 7 universal year, so all of us are knee deep in this year, it is when you begin to do a lot of soul searching. You begin to question things in your life and why you do the things you do. You begin to, as they call it now, going down the rabbit hole, looking for the cause and effect of why things have happened the way they are. And normally in a 7 cycle, and this is a 7 years, so that means for all of us to a greater or lesser degree, we'll begin to uncover something about ourselves or discover something about ourselves, all depending on how you're looking at yourself, okay? And things that have kind of been hidden rises to the surface. So in your case, Carrie Ann Ingram, less is more. The less you speak, the more you find out. The less you say, the more you know. It's very, very simple. So if it's money that you're after this year, or love that you're after this year, it's not about chasing it, since 7 is magnetic in its energy. And this whole universal year tells everybody, stop chasing, but magnetize and bring things to you, but just by thinking. So that means monitoring your thoughts. Don't be saying, oh man, that was so stupid of me, because your mind will say, okay, we'll grant your wish. So this self-talk that we have, this desire to chase after the almighty dollar or the hearts and whatever we be looking for in a relationship, this is not the time. Next year, 2024 is good. This year, no. You just see what you want in your mind's eye, you focus on it a bit, and you let go and let God, as our elders would say, and let it bring it to you. Don't be telling God, like, I need it in, like 2-3 weeks, and I got to have it by 5, or I'm in jam. No, you can't do that. No. The man is busy. I'm sure everybody and their mother be pulling at this higher source. So what I'm saying is that to get what you want, you magnetize it to you rather than chase after it. Okay. So by the way, your lucky numbers are the 8, 4, and 1. And your best days are always on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. All righty. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me go back the other way with this. Okay, this is let me see. This is T. Douglas. I think I got that right. Let me see something, folksies. All right. Now y'all have made some donations. I'm gonna get to those in a moment too. I'm just seeing those. Okay. All right. So in this case, this person here is on. No, I did this. Carrie, I did you already. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. Comment. All right, there we go. This person is Sarah McDonald, and she would like a reading. She is born on Kyrie Irving's birthday, March the 23rd. Other famous people are born on that day too, so don't just focus on that. But I'll just name some birthdays just out of practice, because I'm so used to doing this. But anyway, regardless of it, with her birthday being that means she's an Aries 5 person. Her most important numbers are always the 5, followed by the 9, followed by the 6, which means Wednesday and Tuesday and Fridays are always her best days without exception. And since she is born on March the 23rd, that means she's entering a 6th personal year, a year that deals with the home, family, health, happiness, money, okay, relationships, things of that nature, education. Because when a person enters a 6th cycle, the first thing a woman does, I notice, is they start working on changing their hair, restyling their hair, growing it, cutting it, streaking it, all the myriad of things y'all do with your hair. All righty. And not only that, but it would be good for her to take a course of some kind, whether it's a workshop or a retreat or a seminar or online course, or whatever the case is, and also going to be working on her physical appearance. And since you be in a 6th personal year, that means soak up the sunlight, soak up the fresh air, get out there and walk. Okay. You might have 10 cars. I don't care. Walk. All right. That will do you wonders. It will do you a world of good. Trust me. All righty. And so this is what I am seeing with this particular birthday. And since you are a fire sign with an air number, these are elements that are very compatible with one another. Now, this one here is from Randy Grace. And Randy, thank you for the donation. He is born the same day as my man that used to do Soul Train. And I met him too. I'll think of his name in a minute. But anyway, you are a Libra 9 person, all righty? And Don Cornelius, that's his name, born the same day as Don Cornelius, the founder of Soul Train, and a couple other people of note, but be that as it may. You would exhibit an air sign with a fire number, which are elements that are very compatible and harmonious with each other. In fact, your air sign would only stimulate your fire number. That's why they will tell you, if you're in a house or hotel or wherever, and there's a fire, you don't open the doors or the windows to let the air in, because you are, it only makes fire spread. So this person is self-motivating, that's for sure. And because they are 9, they normally don't take orders well. That's for sure too. So if Ronald, you be, as my mother used to say, smelling yourself at times, that would kind of make sense to me, sir. Nothing personal. Because 9 people, almost without exceptions, have very good opinion of themselves. I could meet this person, and Ronald said, "Well, this guy don't know nothing about me," and it couldn't care less. All righty. So that's the kind of energy that is. And again, your numbers though are the 9, 6, and 3. Your best days are always on a Tuesday, a Friday, and a Thursday. All righty. So let's go to this one, Lauren. And they're born December the 23rd of 2001. Their sun is in Capricorn. Their ascendant is in the rising sign or ascendant of Virgo. And a life path number, that is when they took the month, the day, and the year of December the 23rd of 2001, it factored out to a master number 11, which means she's in the 11th grade in the school of life. That would be equivalent to like going to get your master's. And if it was a master number 22, that would be equivalent like going to go after your PhD. All righty. But nonetheless, 5s are always very flexible. They're very fluid. They're very adjustable. They are normally kind of like got a lot of skill sets that they bring to the table of life, which is why I describe a 5 in essence as multifaceted, multi-talented, multidimensional. And 5 being air means just that. They like some space. And so with this being a Capricorn 5 person, that means they're earth sign with an air number, which would kind of contradict each other. Once one on the Capricorn side, very conservative, think about it. On a 5 can be impulsive, just go out there and, just jump out there, whichever the mood hits him and stuff like that. But the numbers that are very important to you are the 5, 8, and 6. And your best days are always on a Wednesday, followed by a Saturday, and of course, a Friday. Okay, now notice it's not the way the calendar week works. It's the way your cosmic week works according to your birthday. All righty. So let's go back again. And this person here is Preston Hare. Preston, thank you very much for the donation. They're born on January the 3rd. Happy belated birthday. You're now entering a master. Is this a 2 or master number 11 personal year? Let me see if that's the case. Let me see. 1, 3, 20, 23. This is the only time I'll pause because a lot of this is in my head. 7, 2. Yes, this person is in a master number 11 personal year. So that means this is your year, my friend, to elevate yourself to the highest level as possible in terms of ideas, concepts, visions, flashes of inspiration that may enter into your arena, waiting at a bus stop or waiting for somebody, or just kind of just chilling, and something will just come to you. You need to follow these ideas through completion, because you will be in an 11 personal year. That means those under the signs of Leo and Aquarius as minor way cancers will begin to be of help to you before the year is over, or somebody born on the 2nd, the 7th, the 11th, the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, or the 29th of the month will be of help to you too. And this year says you need to focus on your diet, okay? Stay hydrated. That will do you well, and take your time. That's all you got to do. And again, your lucky numbers though are the 3, 8, and 6. And you'll find that Thursday, Saturday, and Friday in that order, not Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but Thursday 1st, Saturday 2nd, Friday 3rd would be your best days to carry out your plans, okay? So this is good. This is good. This is good. All right, now let me go back up a bit into this person here, Francisco Morales, seeking spirituality. Well, in a way that's kind of interesting, because 9, along with 7, are the only 2 numbers found on the spiritual or intuitive plane in numerology. So yes, there is a degree of spirituality, but the 27 people born on this is the same birthday as Coretta Scott King, for example. But people born on the 27th is called the Royal Scepter in the tarot, one who succeeds as a productive intellect, which means you're a pretty smart guy too, Francisco. All right. The only thing is you've got to watch maybe a little impulsiveness, which is a 9 trait, a little braggadocious, which is a 9 trait, a little, I ain't having it from none of y'all up in here, which is a 9 trait. Okay. And so this would then explain some of the things. And one of the things I tell people, if you don't want the honest truth, don't talk to a number 1 person or a number 9 person, because they tell it like it is. A favorite song that one of my relatives back in the day used to play all the time. But anyway, this is your year to bring out the best in people. In fact, I think you too are in a 7. I think you're in an 11 personal year too, Francisco. Hold on, let me do this right quick. 7. I'm just kind of making sure that I did this correctly. All right. And that's 14. Yep, you are in 11 personal year, just like the last caller. So that means this is your year to elevate your mindset, sir, to elevate your goals, to elevate your expectations of what you can do. Because the master number 11 normally brings out those perceptions, those ideas, those concepts, these late night inventions that we see on TV. Like we say, why didn't I think of that? Well, that's the kind of year you're in, Francisco. So definitely have a notepad with you. It don't have to be a big one, so small, or little index cards. And when you're waiting on something or traveling, you got this idea, just jot it down. Later on, develop it later on. Since you are in the 11 master number year 2, you too will probably be thinking about seriously changing your diet or eating habits in some way, shape, or form. Maybe going vegan or semi-vegetarian. It all depends on what your whole mindset has been. But your key numbers, though, are the 9, 6, and 3. And your best days are always on a Friday, followed by a Tuesday. No, excuse me. It's a Tuesday first. Excuse me. Then a Friday. Then a Thursday. So that would be the order of your days, not Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, but Friday first. No, Tuesday first, Friday second, Thursday third. Okay. Thank you very, very much. Let me see here. I'm going to go to AD Sunshine. All right. She says, what's good for, or what Angela says, what's good for 2023. Okay. And they happen to be again in this case, a Leo 1. So they are in a 7 personal year. So this year they're going to spend some time going down the rabbit hole of life. And when you are in a 7, the one thing that stands out, you don't want to get involved in no noise, no drama, no confusion, no BS. You just want to be left alone. Leave me alone. Don't be bothering me. That's the nature of a 7, because 7 is more reserved. 7 is more reflective. It goes within. And so therefore, if you have a desire to go somewhere this year, Angela, where there's the sand, the sea, and the sun, that would make perfect sense in the world to just get away from everybody, where you can just hear yourself think, as they used to say. All right. And by the way, your lucky numbers, or most important numbers, Angela, are always, without exceptions, the 1, 4, and 9. And since 1s and 9s are leadership numbers, that tells me a lot about you. That you should really have, or maybe have had, at some point in your life, your own business, your own enterprise, or some title of authority or whatever. Because number 1s and number 9s have one thing in common. They do not, I repeat, they do not take orders well. I do want to recognize Atal Chan for her donation. This looks like pounds. I guess they're in the UK. So thank you very, very much for that. Much appreciated. This one is from Marcellus Pittman. And they are born on November 27th, Bruce Lee's birthday, Jimi Hendrix's birthday, Robin Gibbons' birthday, on and on. But anyway, this person is a fire sign with a fire number. And what that simply means, that they don't normally like being held back. Normally 9s are generous to a fault. They're global. They're universal. And as I joke with the 9 men, they normally think they're the greatest thing since ice cream too. All right. The nine people, especially the males. The women, confidence. The males can't tell them squat. They know they do joint. Okay. So that's how that goes. But anyway, this particular year will be a 9 personal year for you. So your personal year, Marcellus, is matching your birthday, which is a 9. So anytime your personal year and your birthday comes together, it's a sense of a synchronicity, so to speak. So this is going to give you a chance to fulfill your dreams. It's also going to give you a chance to cut your losses. And it's also going to give you a chance to extend your travels to across large bodies of land or water. All right. And again, with the nature of a 9, because it's generous, one of the things about a 9 to the negative is they need to avoid anything of be careful handling knives, guns, sharp instruments, arguments, confrontations, driving cars and stuff, since 9 tends to be more accident prone than illness prone. All righty. So your numbers are the 9, 3, and 6, and your best days are Tuesday and Friday. Nope, Tuesday, Thursday, and then Friday. So yours goes away, the week goes Tuesday first, Thursday, TTF, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. All righty. So let's see what we got here now. We got this person here. Thank you, 5252 Crypto. Again, would you do a reading for my wife? She's 1010, and he is February the 8th. I hope that's correct. See, it all depends. Let me explain why. If you're in other parts of the country, they will put the date of birth first, not the month, as we do here in the West. Okay. So it's the 1010, I got that one. But does that mean her husband is born August the 2nd and not the 8th of February? And then they got a young godson. But look at the number pattern. With especially with the godson, 31313, and with the wife is 1101086. So let me start with the Mrs. quickly. You are air sign with a fire number. That's great. Your mate is a no, you, sir, is you I'm going to assume you're February the 8th. Okay. So if you're February the 8th, that means you are an air sign with an earth number. But if you are August the 2nd, or depending on what part of the world you're coming from, because I got to understand, I'm getting responses from everywhere. Australia, I think I got some from Japan and Egypt and, the UK. And so I've got to be aware now of that, how I'm getting these birthdays in. But let's say it's reversed and they're August 2nd, they would be a fire sign with a water number. But I'm going to assume it's a Western form of the birthday they gave me. And they got to, because if you look at the godson, there is no 13th month. Okay. So it's got to be born March the 13th of 2013. All right. So that resolves that for me right away. So this person, therefore, would be an air sign with an earth number. You and your wife would make great business couples. One's in nature found on the mental plane, which is about business, which is about the evolution of things, about going after tasks and setting up things, setting up goals and objectives of a business nature. Y'all would do well working as a collective over and above just being a husband and wife, of setting up a joint business venture. Y'all would do very, very well with that. This particular year, in fact, your wife is in a 9 personal year and you are in an 8 personal year. So you two are always 1 personal year behind each other, except you, sir, are before she is. You're in a very powerful cycle this year, just like she was in 2022. So this is your year, sir, to make your moves, take no prisoners. You're not having it. Be determined, set your sights, aim for the sun if you only hit the moon, but think big, no question about it. All righty. And as for the missus, she's strong-willed too. Let me tell you, you married yourself not a tough one, but a one that don't play. One, people, whether male or female, will tell it the way they see it. It's nothing personal. If you're a knucklehead, guess what? You're a knucklehead. I mean, how many ways can we say this up here? So this is very, very important. And speaking of health, though, yours deals with the eyes, your wife's, and yours deals with headaches, the knees, teeth, and bone. And as for your young godson, all righty, his birthday indicates he can be moody, but it also indicates he's a kind of a genius. In fact, he was born on the best day of one of my best friends when I was growing up as a kid, Sam Stovell. So this is their birthday. So again, her numbers are the 149. His numbers are the 8, 2, no, the 8, 4, and 1. And his numbers, the godson's numbers, are the 4, 1, and 3. All righty. So thank you very, very much. I much appreciate it. Yes. Tony Z, thank you, dear. You knew I was trying to say Don Cornelius. All right. Thank you, lady. Yeah, I knew. I got so much information in my head, but I've been doing this a long time now. Anyway, Natalie Crawford. Okay, this is interesting. They're both air signs. Natalie Crawford, you are an air sign of Libra, 5, and he is a Gemini. I would assume that's a 5 or 1. So you are 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 a 5 or 1. So you another person, they are a Gemini 3. And so this way, you will find in your case this year, you're heading into a 4 personal year. Now, 4s normally challenges Libras, and it's not bad. It's just your mindset going into the year. 4 says going into this year, you got to have things tight. You can't play fast and loose with stuff. You got to have things organized. You got to have a plan. You got to have a method to the madness, so to speak. Okay. As for him, he's in a 6 personal year. So what that tells me is this: if y'all ever have a challenge, this year is likely to be it. Why do I say that? That's because he is in a 6 personal year. You are in a 4 personal year. And the direct opposition numbers more than any other number is the 6 oppositional to the 4 and the 4 oppositional to the 6. What it simply means is, you guys, if y'all are not on the same page, mind with thinking, with resolving something, with coming to a conclusion, because 6, the cycle that he's going through, is a little conservative. 4 is definitely unconservative, unconventional. If you ask why they do that, I don't know. I just decided to do it because everybody was going one way. I decided to go another way. So it might be those kind of conversations, but it's going to be an interesting year for you two. That's for sure. All righty. Her numbers are the 5, 6, and 9. His numbers are the 3, 5, no, the 3, 6, and 5. Okay. So they do have a 5 in common, which means Wednesday is a common day. June and September are the common months that they both share. And this is how I do it, folks. All righty. So let me do this. I'm going to take Zenful Keys. All right. They're born May the 30th. All right. So this is a big thinker. Whoever this person is, they are a Gemini 3 person. So that means they are workaholics, very ambitious, very creative, want to make something of themselves. Let me tell you, gentlemen, if you ever meet a woman born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month, 3 women and men, 3s like prestige. 3s like to know, if I'm dealing with you, you got to be into something, okay? 3 normally don't deal with no bumps, stump on a bump, or bump on a stump, call it whatever you want to. So I know that whoever you're dealing with, Zenful Keys, almost always the person's got to have something on the ball. He ain't got to be no CEO. He ain't got to be 6 feet tall. He ain't got to be making 100,000. These are some of the common things I hear people saying now, but he's got to have something on the ball. Let's say he doesn't, and you really like him, your attitude is, by the time I finish with you, you're going places, okay? And that's how you work, because the compound number 30 denotes mental superiority in the tarot deck. So I know you're a big, big thinker, and that's how you do. So I'm going to take about 2 more calls, and then we're going to wrap it up until Wednesday. I will be back all by myself. And then next week, I will start my guests. And one of them is going to be my guest, Audrey Rumbers. She was the one that talked the fabulous interview I did about quantum physics. And also, I didn't talk about her argon pyramids that she makes this actually a one of a kind. All righty. So we'll be talking about that on Monday. She will be my guest. And then on Wednesday next week, I'm going to talk about life insurance. And you'd be surprised about life insurance, that it has more to give than to take. It all depends on how you use that instrument. These are called instruments in the investment field. So that's what it's looking for. But back in the day, they used to sell death insurance. So I guess that's why most people were reluctant about insurance, because you figured, if I die, I get the insurance today, I'm going out of here tomorrow. That's not true. But for those who understand the valuable instrument of life insurance, you can really parlay that, because first of all, there are no taxes. There's a lot of things that you can benefit from. You can loan from yourself, then pay it back without any interest. Anyway, I'll have the experts explain that to you. All righty. That's what I'll do. Anyway, this one here is from Marva Cam. And Marva, thank you very much for the donation. Peace, peace, Cameron, female. Yes, I can see that. And they are born on the 4th of July, which means in cardology, they are a Jack of Diamonds. I learned that from Nina Diamond and Jackie Levine, okay, who are going to be putting a book out, at least, well, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But anyway, that simply means that you've always been an old soul, my dear, okay? Even out the womb, you've always been old. I mean, your parents will pick you up from their parents, and you be saying something, they be saying, you've been talking to Nana or something of that nature. It also indicates you like to think outside the box. In some way, you're very unconventional. You like to do your own thinking. If everybody goes one way, guaranteed you're going to go the other way because you kind of can't help yourself. And yet you're very sensitive and high strung and easily wounded in your feelings too. And that's the thing about it. And it also indicates too that you have a very, very sensitive nature. Let there be no question. But to know you is to love you. So the 4 and the number 8, as I explained at the beginning of the show, tend to be misunderstood. So I always tell both of them, if they had to hang a motto over their door, to know them is to love them. Very, very simple. And by the way, your key numbers, and you have 4. Your numbers are the 4, 1, 2, and 7, which means Sunday and Monday, and in a minor way, Wednesdays are always your best days. And Regina, and after this, we're going to take one more, and then we're going to have to wrap it up since I am over my hour mark. And they said they were born on September the 14th of 70. They have 2 children born on the 14th as well. One is June the 14th. One is May the 14th. I wonder what the birthday of the dad is. Was he born on the 14th or the 5th or the 23rd or under the sign of Gemini, like one of the children, or Virgo, like her, for example? All right. They've all been diagnosed with abilities that now I understand. I don't know what that is, but I know this. 5s are very smart. They're multifaceted, multi-talented, multidimensional. 5s work very well under pressure. 5s are fast learners. That is for sure. And so I don't know what that means, and I'm not a clinician or a physician. So I'm just saying, but I would think, looking at the year they were born, that they should be pretty much okay. But it's interesting that they will all be born on the 14th. So that means either you'll all look alike or act alike, think alike, or people say, you all look real similar. I could tell, Regina, that those your babies. Or, boy, you looking just like your mother. Girl, you looking it'll be that kind of conversation. But to keep it brief, your numbers, Regina, are the 5, 6, and 9. Your son on the 15th, 14th, his numbers are the 5, 6, and 9. And believe it or not, with the other one born May the 14th, their numbers are the 5, the 6, and the 9. So I know there's going to be somebody out there says, that number sounds real good. I ain't trying to encourage nobody, but I know how we do. Okay, because people like to play numbers, especially in our communities. And I just think it's interesting that all of you as well as your babies, have all the same numbers in common. Thus, you'll got the same days in common, which is Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday. All righty. So thank you. I'm going to take about 2 more, and then I'm going to have to wrap it up. This is Elisa Savory, born May 8th, 2000. She's in her 20s. But let me tell you, although she's in her 20s, she's old. And not talking about biological old, just metaphysically, philosophically, mature old in that sense. And so I wouldn't be surprised. They said, girl, I remember you was born with a veil over your face. I never knew what that meant at that time. But it's just that somebody could just discern that this baby here is older. Although they just got here, there's something about the wisdom that comes across with this little infant that just got here, all right? So that's it with you. I'm going to take this last one right now. This is Anthony Michael Stevens. He's Taurus Sun. He is April the 25th. All righty. Now he's giving 2. Kalanji. All righty. Well, let me take first. First of all, April 26th is an earth number. February 27th is a water number. So earth and water goes very, very well together. 9s and 7 are both found on the spiritual plane since he's born on the 25th, and this person is born on the 27th, and 2 plus 7 is 9. The point is, though, that the person on April the 25th, you are going to be going through a 9 personal year, which means you're going to be very much influencing the person that's born on the 27th that you just listed. Whereas the person born on February the 27th, well, they are going to be going through a 11, I think this is 11 personal year again. That must be pretty good. Let me just do something right quick just to confirm the way I do it in numerology. That's 12, that's 5, that's 2, that's 2. Okay. Well, this person is going through a 9 personal year. And this person, therefore, is matching his own number. That means this person is definitely about to bring things to a conclusion. And what's interesting, they're born in 1999, born on the 27th, which is a 9. So this person that you're dealing with, Kalanji, is definitely a fighter without question. And definitely is a person that's going to keep it real, whether you like it or not. Where 7s are very low key, like to stay under the radar. Well, 9s don't take no stuff from nobody up in this piece. Okay. So everybody, I want to thank you, thank you, thank you. There's so many of you, but those of you who've made the donations, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Seriously, keeping it real. And I think and this was so kind of unexpected. I wasn't looking for this. My thing is to kind of like, educate you, and hopefully those be of value to you, not about, oh, can I get your money, this, that, and the other. And don't think I don't need some money now. Okay. When you got 6 kids, don't think you don't need it. But what I'm saying to you is that was never my purpose. So this is a pleasant surprise, and it's very nice. And I think I know who is responsible for starting this trend. So I want to thank everybody very much. I do want to let you know before I go that please sign up for the free monthly newsletter. Okay. The January issue is out. All you got to do is sign in to LLoyd-Strayhorn.com. So for any new subscriber, that's spelled LLoyd Strayhorn, STRAYHORN.com, and just sign up for it. And I do want to thank all of you who made me reaching, evidently with the people that set up my site and got me started with this. This was a big deal for them because I wasn't even looking to see how many subscribers. And only last Wednesday did they tell me, just about maybe an hour before the show, Lloyd, you got 10,000 subscribers. Then they put this flyer together for me. So I said I would honor it, and I would honor all of you who took your valuable time to subscribe, to follow the show, to share, to like, and all that other stuff. And you see, and you know what's interesting? Again, when I read this part, I keep forgetting to leave. I keep forgetting to say, please share, like, subscribe. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, my moderator reminds y'all too. All right, when y'all come in this room, y'all better get a thumbs up or likes or whatever they call that, or hit that bell wherever it is. I don't see no bell, but wherever it is, hit it. That's a reminder to let you know things are right. But anyway, I thank you. I do have a lot of fun, and I love doing this now. At first, I was very shy, very bashful. I'm still bashful, but I'm more comfortable. It took almost 1.5 years to do it, but I'm there. Okay. So everybody, I want to thank you very, very much. I look forward to seeing you Wednesday. I will be answering all your questions, but starting next week, a week from today, we get serious about bringing all the wonderful guests that I've had on. I'm going to be bringing on some brand new guests too. But we're going to keep it moving. In fact, the guest on next Wednesday will be new. But I've had Audrey on a couple of times, but people are always fascinated when she gets into her quantum physics and talk about her Algol pyramids. And we're going to have fun with that on Monday, the 11th. Nope. Monday, what's today, the 9th. So that's Monday, the 16th. Yes, 16th, because her birthday is the next day on the 17th. All right, everybody. I want to thank you very, very much. Please take good care of yourselves. Please honor yourself too. And please honor our loved ones and whatnot. And, although it sounds like this world is very confusing, there is actually more order in this universe than you can imagine. And this is why I try to get you to see what your numbers are, how they affect you. And if a person could be in the wrong place at the wrong time, my philosophy is, how come you can't be in the right place at the right time in harmony with the universe? Sounds incredibly simple. Anyway, y'all all have a very, very nice day. And I'll see you in a couple of days. Well, then, as I say, see you in 48 hours.